Okay.
Let me undo those changes and let's switch over to vertex mode. And in vertex mode, you guessed it, you can select individual vertices and move those around. So
Oh.
you're just getting more and more fine-grained control, and you can modify and kind of tweak your mesh in any way that you want. If you do have a mesh with a lot of vertices, you may not want to select them all individually and hold Shift down and select every single one of them. Instead, let's press A to unselect everything, hold down Control, and now just draw a little rounded shape around the vertices that you want to select. So now you've selected all of those
Huh? Oh!
vertices. However, be aware that you will only be able to select the visible vertices. So if I go to the other side of the mesh, you can see I haven't actually selected these 4 vertices here. I've only selected the ones on the front. Let's press A again to unselect everything. If you want to select all vertices, whether you can see them or not, you will have to enable wireframe mode, and you can do that by pressing Z on your keyboard. Now in wireframe mode, again, let's hold down Control and let's draw a circle around all of the vertices we want to select. Maybe we'll leave out the one in the bottom right corner. Let go. Let's press Z again to go out of wireframe mode, and now you can see I've selected all of the vertices on all sides of the mesh, except for this little outlier here that I didn't want to select to begin with. Let's undo a couple of times to bring our cube back into its default shape, and let's start reshaping this into the shape of a trunk. For that, I first want to scale the cube out a little bit, just so it's a little bit wider. Of course, feel absolutely free, and I highly encourage you to very freely follow this tutorial, make your own tweaks and change this in any way that you want. I really just want to get you familiar with the basic concepts. All I'm going to do is I'm actually going to return to face selection mode, and by the way, you can actually click these little options down here in the header for the 3D viewport. One thing that I much prefer is simply with the cursor over the 3D view, press Control and Tab, and then you can just change your mode right here. So you can go Control,
What? Huh?
View, press Control and Tab.
What? Oh, look. Okay.
And then you can just change your mode right here. So you can go Control and Tab, and then just press F or select the face option, and you're back in face selection mode. Let's select the faces on the right side. Hold down Shift, select the face on the left side as well. And now I just want to scale this out to make this box a little bit wider. Of course, you can simply come down to the header of your 3D viewport, select the scale tool, and then drag this out.
Oh.
And
Huh? Yes! It's big enough. Give it rectangle.
and the cool
now.
thing is that while I'm doing this,
Shut up. Ooh.
I can actually type a number to define how much I want to scale this. So let's say I want to scale it to twice the width. So let's simply press 2. There you go, twice the width. Let go. Now, if all you had available in Blender was the option to select vertices, edges, and faces and move them about, it wouldn't be a very powerful modeling tool. However, on the left side of the 3D viewport, and you can actually show and hide this panel by pressing T on your keyboard. You have a whole bunch of different tools. If you scroll down a little bit, you've got a whole bunch of cool options to extrude, inset, subdivide, loop cut, spin and knife, and a whole bunch of other great modeling tools. One of the most powerful one is the extrude tool, and in order to extrude, make sure
extrude. Whoa. Whoa! It's a bird. Like, imagine flapping wings. Undo. I mean undo. Okay. I feel so powerful. Anyways.
sure you're in face selection mode. Let's select the top of our chest and let's simply select extrude and extrude region. And quite honestly, I highly recommend just using the shortcut key E. It'll be so much easier. But now let's just select extrude region. And now we can drag this up or down to essentially extend our cube. With the top face still selected, let's simply press E on our keyboard and let's drag this up again. Let's press E again and let's drag this up again.
My God. Wait, hold up. How to move camera freely in Blender? Shift and the mouse wheel. Shift and mouse wheel. Shift and mouse wheel is not working. Pan view. Pan view.
And so you're essentially extending the cube upwards and you're adding all of these new faces.
I'm going to add select faces.
The cool thing about this is that now that you have new faces, you can actually select them. Let's return to translate mode and move them about. And so now you
Huh? Wait. Is it like... How that's only happening on that side? Oh. Oh yeah. Eyes. Imagine eyes.
you can actually create totally different shapes because you're adding more geometry to your cube. But let's undo all of that again and do something useful and actually create
Aww. Sad. Okay.
the inside of this chest because you'd probably imagine it to be hollow. In order to do that, I want to extrude this inwards, but if I now press E and drag down to extrude this, you will see all this weird flickering because the sides of our chest have no volume. So let's undo that all again. What I want to do instead, I actually want to inset this face first. And again, you could come over on the left side and select inset face.
Oh, they're insert faces. I click this.
Faces. By the way, you also have all of these and way more options available down in the header of the 3D view under the mesh option. For example, you can come into the faces submenu and in here you'll find things like grid fill, beveling, and again there's this inset faces. But again, I'm just going to use the shortcut instead because I really want you to get comfortable with the shortcut keys that will make your modeling process so much faster. So with the top face of our trunk selected, let's press I and drag
Oh,
inside to inset this face. So this is going to create a new face that sits inside the one that we had selected. Let's click left to confirm that.
left was left. Oh, I think extrude now. Oh! Oh! Box. Okay, that's good. That's so cool.
So now we have this little face on the inside. And now with that face still selected, press E and let's drag this down to essentially hollow out our chest. And I don't want to go too low, so I might just drop this off here, go to the side, press Z to go into wireframe mode and keep.
Press Z. 4. I want to go to wireframe.
Okay.
Please no, please no, please no, please no. No! What respond? Do I have to close this? Wait. Just wait. Okay. Saved. Control Z. Oh! Okay, so I did it perfectly on there. Like that. So cool.
You can see this pretty clearly. And I can still move this face around, so I'm just going to move this fairly far down to the bottom. I still want to leave a little bit of volume down there. Let's press Z again to go outside. And we have now hollowed out our chest. Next, if you've ever actually owned anything that was kind of similar to a treasure chest, you will know that it actually has a little bit of a lip right where the lid sits on top of this chest. So let's use the exact same technique to just kind of add a little bit of like a little wall right in the center around here, like a little bit of an edge where the lid would actually rest on. For that, make sure you're in face selection mode and let's select
Face selection.
all of the faces around the top of our chest. So hold down Shift to select them all.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. Press I to inset. Let's drag this in a little bit. So we're creating this little bit of a, kind of like a
Click I. Little outline.
rim on the inside of the top of our lid. Press E to extrude and let's drag this up just a
Oh my god, I'm so advanced now. Oh, oh, oh.
little bit. So we're kind of creating this little ridge here where
Hold up. Okay.
we can then imagine the lid of the chest to sit on. So that looks pretty good. Right now, you may notice that our box looks very, very boring. What I want to do now is I want to add a little bit of detail to the outside of our trunk, like
Okay, so here.
metal plating essentially going around this trunk. However, if you right click on the side of your box, you may notice this is just a single face. There's not much detail with which we...
Okay, we're gonna add another one. Let's click on this face. Eye. And I bet we extrude this way. Oh my god, I'm so advanced now.
work. Let's undo that because I don't actually want to distort it. We now need to add more edges, more faces into our geometry so we can actually work with parts of it. In order to do that, in your tools on the left side, you will find the loop, cut and slice, or
Loop,
what?
cut and slice. Oh. Loop.
What I much prefer to do, if you hover over this option, the shortcut for this is Ctrl R. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to press Ctrl R, and now if I hover over my mesh, you will see that I can either add a horizontal cut into my mesh. And now if I hover over my mesh, you will see that I can either
other way. Whoa.
either add a horizontal cut into my mesh or a vertical cut. Now I want to place a horizontal cut, and you can kind of tell that this is going to go all the way around the mesh. So let's simply click to place this edge, and the cool thing is I can still drag this around. And actually want to place this fairly far down here.
Oh my god. What? What?
And I'm going to add another one. So let's again press Ctrl R and let's place another edge. Just click to place it and drag it down. And so we're essentially creating this rim around the bottom of this box. Now this operation has dropped us off into edge selection mode. So Ctrl Tab and go back into face selection mode.
I'm always face.
And now you will notice that we have our sides of our box all split off into these different faces. And the cool thing is that now we can select just this rim, hold down Shift to select all of the faces that define this kind of metal plating that we want to define, and press E to extrude. And this doesn't quite work because we're essentially extruding faces that are aiming in different directions. Make sure you press Ctrl Z after you cancel an extrude operation, otherwise you may have duplicate faces lying on top of each other, and that's not good at all. Now, instead of just extruding normally, if you go into this extrude options, you may notice that you actually have options to extrude the region, which is what we just tried. You can also extrude along the vertex normals, and you can extrude individual.
Nilinisin mo nga dito, ba't parang ang baho dito? Ang panghi.
Face. You can also extrude along the vertex norm.
What?
And you can extrude individual faces. Now, if I select extruding individual
Ngayong araw. Ayan, hindi pa kayo nagsuklay ha, Mia. Nasaan yung suklay? Paano kayo nagsuklay na dalawa? Ha? Paano kayo nagsuklay na dalawa?
I did.
Nako.
I did. Extrude individual.
What? Nung ano kasi maganda yung napalago mo yung bushida eh. Kaso lang,
what?
naihian yun ng mga pusa kaya namatay. Hindi nabuhusan ng tubig din. Kaya bawal na pusa dyan. Dito yun dyan mga may ingay, iniihian kasi nila eh.
Oh!
Today is March 1.
Yeah! Extrude individual.
Why you haven't changed this? Hi Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur.
Faces, and do note that I still have all of my faces selected. So if I go extrude individual faces, and I now drag out, now it's
What?
Ate, pabot ka ng suklay. Saan na ba yung suklay? Mia, get the suklay so I could supply you. Come on. Shh, Mia, can you get the suklay, please? Get the suklay downstairs. Wala kang slippers na naman, anak. Para masuklayan kita.
not quite what we want, but it is a pretty cool effect. So you're essentially extruding each face individually, and you can kind of create a really cool effect, kind of like a shrunk, hedgehoggy kind of thing. But obviously that's also not quite what we want, so go Control Z to undo that again. What I actually want to do, come up into the tools, select extrude, and then select extrude region along the vertex normals. If you don't want to go into this menu all the time, you can also press Alt and E while hovering over your 3D view. So Alt and E brings up the extrude options, and then you can select region along the vertex normals. And now if you drag this out, this is
Yeah.
Whoa!
much more what we're looking for. So you kind of either push this in or out depending on what you want your trunk to look like. I'm going to push this out.
I want to push it in.
Just a little bit. Cool, and I think that's actually not too bad. And once again, just to add a little bit more detail, press I to inset. Let's drag this in. In just a little bit, and let's press E, and we again did it wrong, so you don't want to extrude.
Oh, wow!
You want to extrude the region along the vertex normal. So right click, press Ctrl Alt and E to select the extrude options, or again come up here so you can select extrude and then extrude along the vertex normals, and it's going to pull this in just a little bit. So I've essentially added a little bit of detailing that wraps around our trunk just to make it look a little bit more exciting. Let's repeat the process to also add another rim around the top of our
Okay. You cut.
Where's my phone? See it, Mia? I'll do music.
Did it.
Trunk. For that, a horizontal one, so make sure you're kind of over this side of your trunk, and you can actually scroll the mouse wheel to determine how many loop cuts you want to place. So you can place 2, 3, however many you want. So I'm actually going to place 2 at once. So let's just click and let's drag up a little bit and kind of place this right here. And now you can either scale this down, because obviously this is way too wide for me, or because we're still in edge selection mode, you can actually select all of your edges, and you can either hold down shift and kind of select them all individually, which you know is great fun, but there's actually a much easier way to select whole edge loops in Blender. Let's press A to unselect, and if you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and right click an edge, it will select the entire loop all around. So you can do the same up here. Simply hold down Alt and right click this edge, and this will select the entire edge loop all around the box. This works on the side as well, so again, a straight line. And this, and right clap this and drag this up to about there. So we're just defining the upper detailing rim that we want to add. And let's return to face selection mode. And you'll see me use different options. Sometimes I use the shortcut keys, sometimes the menu options. I much prefer the shortcut keys, but I just want to get you comfortable with all of the ways to do things. There's always multiple ways to do the same thing in Blender. So let's return to face selection mode. And again, let's just select the faces around the top of our trunk. Again, we want to extrude this along the vertex normals, but this time we're going to go down to the header of the 3D viewport. Select Mesh, extrude the region along the vertex normal, and push this out just a little bit. Also, if this is a little bit too big, you can always press S to just kind of scale this back in. So let's bring this in just a tad again. And if you're finding you're not having detailed enough control, you can always hold down Shift, and you get much finer movement control. So let's just bring this in just a little bit, so that's not too bad. And again, press I to inset. Let's drag this in and make sure that once it starts flickering, you probably accidentally inverted it, so you don't want that to happen. You just want it to be fairly small. And this time we're going to press Alt and E, and again, this is going to get us our extrude options, again, along the vertex normals. And let's just drag this in a little bit. Holding down Shift gives us finer control. So again, we just want to add a little bit of detail to the top of our trunk. Next, I want to add a little bit of detailing to the corners of my trunk, because I feel they do look a little bit too boring. Now, Blender actually offers functionality for a mirrored workflow, where you can kind of, for a symmetrical object, mirror across the modifications you do on one side of the object to all 4 corners, but I think I'm going to cover that in a separate tutorial. For now, let's simply apply the same change to all 4 corners, so let's go into Edge Selection mode. Hold down Alt and select the edge right here. And again, this is going to select the entire edge loop as discussed previously, even on right here. And again, this is going to select the entire mode. Hold down Alt and select the edge right here. And again, this is going to select the entire edge loop as discussed previously, even on the inside of the box. Let's move around and hold down Shift and press Alt to select the next. Corner, Alt and Shift, click, and rotate a little bit further. And again, hold down Shift and Alt and select that edge as well. If you're finding you're not really rotating around the center, you can always press the period key on your numpad, and it will actually focus in on your currently selected object. So right now I've got all 4 edges selected. So period is going to kind of just center me right in the middle there. So now I've got all of my 4 edges selected. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bevel them out. If you come into your tools on the left side of the 3D viewport, you may wonder, well, there's no bevel in here, and that's why I don't actually like this menu all that much. Instead, if you come down to the header of the 3D viewport, click on Mesh and come into your Edges options. Down here you will find a bevel, and again, remember
Bevel.
the shortcut Ctrl and B, it is very useful. So let's say Ctrl and B, or bevel. And now let's drag this out, and there you go. We essentially
No! What? Hold up. Whoa.
left side of the 3D viewport.
It's good enough.
You may wonder, well, there's no bevel. It doesn't. There you go. We're essentially now controlling the bevel, like the roundness of the corners. And
Still wanna hold up. Huh? Select an entire edge. Shift on. Okay. Oh, bro, I was just pressing the wrong button. beautiful. Anyways.
As before, you can use your mouse. Maybe want to add, move the mouse wheel up a little bit and just add one more edge. Your mouse wheel to add more bevel, like the roundness of the corners. And
Not even done yet.
as before, you can use your mouse wheel to add more edges. So let's move the mouse wheel up a little bit and just add one more edge, or maybe
Press I. Yep, very majestic looking chest. Hold on. How you do that?
to add more edges.
Oh, shift mouse selection, huh?
So let's round this out, and there you go. We're essentially now controlling the bevel, like the roundness of the corners. And as before, you can use your mouse wheel to add more edges. So let's move the mouse wheel up a little bit and just add one more edge, or maybe want to add a few more.
How do I add more edges? New edge, new edge. Never mind. How do I add a new edge? Edge. Oh God. Edges. Oh God. Undo. I'll just stay like that. Stay like that.
So maybe we want to add 4 edges and bring this in a little bit to give us these nice rounded corners on our trunk. Let's let go. And that actually looks pretty.
So I'll do that though. Undo. Big cut. Never mind. Bevel. Mouse wheel. How do I add more? Edge crease, oh God.
Sukat, saan ang yung sukat mo?
Oh well, that's good enough.
Cool. Again, it just adds a little bit more detail to our treasure chest. Now what I want to do, I simply want to extrude these faces out just a little bit. So what I might do, I might come back into face selection mode, Control Tab to bring up this menu, press F to return to face.
Or at least, hang on. Face.
Selection mode. I'm going to press A to unselect everything. What I might do is I might actually just select these faces here, the straight facing ones. So maybe these ones down at the bottom as well. And again, because I'm not using the mirrored workflow, I'm going to repeat the same process for all 4 corners, which isn't the most exciting thing to do, but it'll do for now. And as before, press Alt and E to bring up the extrude options. Again, we want to extrude along.
Alright.
Okay, you should try.
Okay. Huh?
vertex normals. And let's push this out. I don't really want to go too far, but of course, feel free to do this in any way you want, you know.
High quality.
No, just be creative and come up with whatever you want. I just want to kind of
Actually, I don't want one. Okay.
push this out a little bit. Actually quite happy with that. And I think that, so now that there's just a little bit of detailing right down the middle. As before, the sides are just these ginormous faces. There isn't actually any edge here for us to bevel out. So let's add another loop cut. And if you've forgotten how to do that, press Ctrl and R, or in your tools, simply select loop.
Okay, I'm gonna continue now.
Cut and slice, and let's simply click and place the edge going over the moving it. And this hasn't, and let's simply click and place this right there without moving it. And this hasn't actually cut all the way through because there isn't actually an edge going over the bottom face of our trunk. So we also need to repeat this process down here on the other side. And this time I'm going to use Ctrl and R and just add that right there. And because we unselected the other edge, hold down Shift to add to the selection and Alt to select the whole loop. And let's right click this edge to select it as well. So now we have the those two edges selected. Come in just a little bit. And remember the shortcut for beveling an edge? You may want to look it up again. It is Ctrl and B, but again, you can come into Mesh, Edges, and select Bevel here as well if you want to. And let's use the mouse wheel to add two more edges. To this bevel. Cool, that doesn't look too bad. Let's return to face selection mode. And as before, I'm just going to select these flat faces. our trunk. However, one quick note, cool, and that is the body of our trunk pretty much done. However, one quick note, if you have a look at the face on the inside of our trunk, as well as the one at the bottom, you will note that these ones are actually n-gons. An n-gon is a polygonal face that has more than 4 vertices. And if you go into vertex selection mode, this one obviously has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 odd vertices. So this is an n-gon. And the reason that is a problem is because n-gons, as well as triangles, don't subdivide and deform very nicely. So if you want to add more detail with kind of effects, polygon will turn in, works all that right on the 3D viewport. There's the knife tool. Personally, I much prefer to press K. But before we do that, make sure you're in vertex selection mode because we need to cut between different vertices. Now let's press K to enable the knife tool. And let's draw some lines from the right to the left side here to essentially turn these into quads, like to kind of slice up our bottom face. So let's simply click on this vertex here over on the right hand side. This is going to create a cutting line, and let's connect that to the exact matching vertex on the left side of the mesh. Click, and then press enter to cut it. And now we've essentially turned this top piece here into a quad. Now this face down here is still an end knife. That looks all right. And let's repeat the process. So now let's go back to face selection mode. I'm essentially creating these quads, these faces, kind of create cutting bits anymore. However, let's just look at the inside. We still have the same problem here. Let's start cutting this up so you don't clean mesh that doesn't contain any weird n-gons or triangles. The mesh is, let's just say, for the lid out, and you can actually do this on the header of your 3D viewport. Simply change back to our trunk. Actually, before we move on, I'm quick object change back to. So I'm going to exit edit mode, and you can actually do this on the header of your 3D viewport. Simply change back to object mode, or just press tab to return back.
Whoa!
To object mode, and there is our trunk. Actually, before we move on, I'm quickly going to jump back into edit mode, select everything by pressing A twice. And on my numpad, I'm going to press 1 to go into my front perspective. And I'm going to press 5 to go into orthographic view, which is like a flat on view. It doesn't have any perspective. And then I'm going to just drag my chest upwards. So it kind of sits exactly on the ground plane. Press 5 to go back into perspective. We can zoom back out and rotate around. So it just kind of sits exactly on the ground. Press tab again to go back to object mode. And let's just create a really simple.
It's a box! Mia, why box him?
Render of this just to see what this looks like. For that, I'm simply going to add a simple ground plane and an additional light before rendering this out. And you can do this in your 3D viewport on the left-hand side. You can come into the Create tab and lay down a plane. And the shortcut key, if you're wondering, is Shift and A, and that will bring up the Add menu. You can simply lay down a mesh, and you can lay down a plane.
Shift A. It's a plane! Mia, it's a plane! It's a plane!
That is a hammer.
No, it's a plane.
That is
We can fly.
that's
Airport plane. Wow.
That's
That's a plane. It's a
that's
plane.
a hammer.
It's a plane.
You won't see it because it's simply a little bit too small. Let's press S and just scale this
God.
ground plane up a fair bit. Yep, that looks all right. Press Shift and A again, and this time I'm going to place down a lamp, and I'm going to select an area light. So let's drop that in. Let's just pull this up and move it out. And let's position this just kind of in front of our trunk. So probably just about here. Let's
Let's put it down. Let's rename it. Select plane. Move Here. Red pen.
Zoom in just a little bit, and let's just render this out here, and area light. So let's drop that in. Let's just pull this up and move it out.
Add a lamp. Control A, search lamp. Lamp. Light.
And let's position this just kind of left and A again. And this time I'm going to place down a lamp, and I'm going to select an area light. So let's drop that in.
This sphere? That's it. Impossible. Okay. Area.
Let's just pull this up and move it out. And let's position this just kind of in front of our trunk. So probably just about here.
Okay. How do I move the light? Up there. It's good.
Here. Let's zoom in just a little bit. And let's just render this out. In your scene properties on the right hand side, in your properties panel, you can press the render button, or you
Properties render. Huh? Oh, there. Render. Eevee.
can press F12 if you wanted to. Personally, I prefer simply switching my viewport over to rendered. So let's come down to the bottom, to the header of the 3D view. And down here, you will find the display mode option, which is currently set to solid. Let's switch this over to rendered.
Oh God!
Mode option, which is currently set to solid, the 3D view. And down here, you will find the display mode option, which is currently set to
Display mode. Huh? We genuinely don't know. Hold on. Viewport shading. Go back to 16. Oh, where is it? Where? Viewport shading. Where's it? It's on circles. Where's the circles? Huh? Hold up. Okay, where viewport? Scripting? Whoa. Scene, new layer. Constraints, physics, object, collection, world, scene, new layer. Where are they? Is it up here again? No? Z.
What the hell? What the hell?
Okay. visible?
to solid.
Solid, okay.
Let's switch this over to rendered.
Oh god. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Shadow.
Whoa!
Shadow.
Whoa! Where's the light? If I move the light, like, can I... Is this the light? I guess I'm gonna stay there. Whoa!
And it looks pretty bad, but also because our render engine is still using Blender Render, which isn't really a very modern engine. So let's switch this over to use Cycles Render Engine. And that looks a whole lot better. The benefit of simply viewing this rendered mode directly
Render is this.
in your 3D viewport is that you can interactively move around your object and kind of
Oh, wait. Ah! How to move camera with mouse in Blender. Move camera. Not that camera. View. How to move. View. How to move. Player camera. I don't know. How to move. Okay.
view this from different angles, and it actually looks pretty good. Now, it's not quite a pirate treasure chest, and as I said, tweak this in any way that you want, but hopefully you've learned something useful so far. The last thing I want to add in this tutorial is a lid for my trunk, just to kind of finish off this model. Let's switch our 3D view back over to solid
Alright. Z solid.
mode, because it'll simply render a whole lot faster.
Let me go back. So we were in render. I guess we were here. Or no, we weren't. I'm gonna go back. I don't know, man. Just stay there. Oh god, wait.
Faster, and I'm now going to take a cylinder, cut it in half, and use that as the basis for the lid of this trunk. For that, again, you could press Shift and A to bring up the Add menu and then drop down a cylinder, or this time we're going to do it the other way, on the left side of your 3D view.
Shift A. Oh, wrong one. Shift A. Mechaval surface. Mesh. Circle. Cylinder. Yeah!
Viewport, come into the Create tab and simply click Cylinder to place one in the scene, and well, it got created at the location of my current 3D cursor, which was way off, so let's go Ctrl Z on that. My 3D cursor is obviously where new objects will be created in my scene. So let's press Shift and C to return this cursor to the center of our scene. Zoom in a little bit, so now the 3D cursor is placed right in the middle of our scene.
Shift.
Scene. Zoom in a little, press Shift, the 3D cursor is placed right
Shift
in the middle
plus.
of our
Visible confusion.
scene,
Okay.
and let's place down a cylinder. Cool, and there it is. And
Oh no, just delete this. Just add cylinder. Stop adding there. How do I move? Okay, cylinder. Mesh cylinder. And let's go over here.
because everything else is in the way, I'm actually going to select my chest. So let's right click on it, press H to hide it. Let's select the ground and press H to hide that again. And there's
Whoa! side.
It's our cylinder now. We can see it a little bit better. So let's select the cylinder, press R to rotate it, and I'm just going to rotate it
I'm just gonna delete this part. There.
around the x-axis. So press X to lock the rotation.
Rotate.
To the x-axis. I'm just going to type 90 on my keypad to rotate it.
X. No. 90. What have I done? What did I click? Undo. No. No.
To lock the rotation to the x-axis. I'm just going to type 90 on my keypad to rotate.
No. Okay. It doesn't work. How to rotate exactly 90 degrees. Wonder. Tap R. R. I don't know what X, Y, and Z is. Tap R. X. 90. What? So R.
Tutulog ka na naman dito. We're hungry, guys. I need to cook.
Huh? It's not working. R.
Is that Kai? Where's Kai?
Bamboo.
Yeah, don't let. Where's Kai? Kai?
Well,
Kai? Oh, ba't nasa lab tayo?
Rotate this exactly 90 degrees and press enter. And so this is now our starting shape. Let's return to edit mode, which you can do either via the selector here in the header of the 3D view or simply by pressing tab on your keyboard. And let's again just scale this out. So let's go into face selection mode. Select the face on the right side.
face.
Come over to the left. And select that face as well. Press S to scale this out and press 1.
Whoa! A model a hammer. I want a model a hammer now. It's too big. Hold up. Gotta make sure. Oh my god, what? Bro. Okay. Okay.
Y to lock the scaling to the Y axis. I'm just going to press 2 to scale this out to a width of 2.
Does it actually work? Hold up. Let's undo everything. We pressed 2. Never mind. Transform. Okay.
Because that's exactly the width we had for our trunk as
I
well,
did
so
it.
that'll match exactly the size of our trunk. And now I want to cut off the bottom half of the cylinder. However, right now, the sides of the cylinder are just large single faces and I can't delete just half a face. So what I need to do first, I first need to kind of slice through them using the knife tool. And we've done this before. I'm going to come down and go into vertex selection mode so I can see all of my vertices. I'm going to press
Vertex.
K to bring up the knife tool. I'm going to
Whoa. Stab.
slice from the right vertex here in the middle of my cylinder all the way over to the left hand side.
Hold up. How do I take it out? How to stop using... Help! Oh, I can use this to stop? Stop? How do I stop? Pan view? I'm stuck here. How to remove knife in Blender, cause space to end the cutting. Oh my god, thank you. Okay. Let's go back into knife. Oh my god. So like I don't know what did he do?
I'm going to slice from the right vertex here in the middle of my cylinder all the way over to the left hand.
Okay. Nice. So what looks like the middle? Here.
And side, click, press enter to place that cut. So now slide.
Yay!
Sliced this face right down the middle. Come to the other side of the cylinder. And let's do the same thing. Press K for the knife tool. Place one on the vertex on the right hand side and slice all the way across that face and press enter to confirm. So now we've kind of created this cut right through the center of our cylinder. And now I just want to delete all faces down here at the bottom. For that, I can come into face select mode and start selecting all of
Face select.
these faces individually. But it's a little bit tedious, so what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to press
Oh well. A little bit tedious. What is a slice doing? Okay, hold on. I'm trying to fix that. How do I redo? Bro. Vertex knife. Enter. No more weird slices. How do I select? Select. Help. He went into face select mode. please. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
1 on my keyboard, and I'm going to press 5 to go into orthographic view. Let's zoom in a little bit, and let's press Z to enable all, and then you can draw around all of the faces on. Now, this might look a little bit funny, but it's because we're still in orthographic view, which is a non-perspective view. So press 5 to go back into perspective view, and that should look a whole lot better. Press Z to go out of wireframe, and you'll see we've selected the entire bottom half of the cylinder. And now we just want to delete those faces, so press X and select to delete the faces. And this is going to kind of cut the bottom half of the cylinder out. Now, before we move on, you may notice that this face here, as well as the face on the other side of this half cylinder, are n-gons. And if you remember, n-gons are bad. So before I keep modeling, I actually want to slice these up into quads. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just returning to vertex selection mode, so I can kind of see the vertices in
Vertex is right. Okay.
this mesh. And again, I'm just going to use the knife tool, so K, just kind of slice from right to left across this cylinder, just kind of essentially turning this one giant n-gon.
Okay.
Into a whole bunch of little quads. And just as you thought you were done, let's just select this face up here at the top and zoom in on that with pressing period on the numpad. The face right here on top is actually still just a triangle. It only has 3 vertices.
It's a face. It's a face. Select this little guy.
It has 1, 2, 3 vertices. So this is actually not ideal. However, we can fix this quite easily by essentially splitting this edge in 2. For that, let's go back to edge selection mode and select the edge on the top of the cylinder. And if you press Ctrl and B, you can bevel this edge. So Ctrl B. And now let's just drag this out just a little bit. So essentially we're adding another edge.
Bevel. Alright. Did it.
On this top face here. And now this top face also is a quad. So this is now much better topology. It'll work much nicer if someone wants to animate or subdivide this mesh. Now let's go to the other side of the cylinder and let's repeat the process for this other face. And the great thing is that because we've already beveled this top edge, the face here at the top of this side is already a quad. So I think we're now done cleaning this out a little bit. And
Hey, hold up, bro. I can finally use the enter on the keypad.
let me select all of the faces by pressing A and then zoom in by pressing period on my numpad. We can kind of rotate around it a bit nicer. And right now, you can see that this lid actually has no volume. It's just faces floating in space. In order to add some volume, we're going to extrude this again. In order to do that, press Alt and E to bring up the extrude option.
Alt E.
And we want to extrude along the vertex normals.
Alt E. Oh my god, no. Oh, thank you.
Like we've done before, so let's select that option. Let's just drag in a little bit. You can drag out as well if you want to. I'm just going to add this. Let's select that options, and we want to extrude along the vertex normals, like we've done before. So let's select that option. Let's just drag in a little bit. You can drag. drag out as well if you want to. I'm just going to add a little bit of volume onto the inside. And there you go. We've now just added a little
Extrude. It's working. I thought this would be hard. Wow. Hang on. Just undo. Okay.
of volume to this lid, and that looks a whole lot better. And you can leave it here and kind of finish off. However, I kind of want to add just a little bit of detail along the top, like ridges around the top, just like a little bit of, decoration. I just want to just detail this out just a little bit more. In order to do that, we once again need to add additional edge loops. For that, press Ctrl and R, so we can place an edge loop, and I'm going to use the mouse wheel to roll.
Yeah, right, we're gonna make edge loops. Oh! Whoa! What have I done? Art edge loop. Oh wait, no. Loop cut thing.
Up. I'm going to place.
Still don't know how to do that. Oh, thank you.
Maybe we'll add 5 rings.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7. Alright.
Click and click again to confirm. So now we've added 5 edges going around the outside. And let's bevel this out. Again, Ctrl B will bevel, but if you don't like shortcut keys, you can come into Mesh, Edges, and then
Control B. I just started, wait. Huh? How to redo? Okay.
and select bevel. And let's just simply drag this out a little bit. Not too much, just
Using all. Bevel? Run bevel? What? Just gonna bevel it. What? Faces? Good.
just a little bit. I'm going to add a few additional edges into that. So I'm just going to use my mouse wheel and scroll up to add 1, 2 edges. So that looks all right. And now what I want to do, let's return to face selection mode and press A to select everything. I kind of want to bevel out just this middle rim here for all of these faces, and you can kind of go through and select all of them individually. That might be just a little bit tedious, so what I'm going to do instead, perspective. So I'll kind of try everything. B here. Again, let's press B, and you don't actually need to hold down Shift to add to the selection. That will happen, but again, for the last, I've got the faces selected as I want. For that, press Alt and E, and let's extrude the region along the vertex normals. And now the
Yeah! Yeah! I want to add a pirate skull.
just kind of push this out a little bit, add a little bit of detail to it. So we're kind of just adding some ridges, some metal ridges over the top of this lid. And I think that actually looks pretty good. Yes, you can keep going and just add even more detail and smoothen this out and make this look even prettier. But I think for the sake of this tutorial, this should do. Let's go back to object mode by pressing Tab. So we're
Alright. Even bevel like this. What? I thought it cut all the way through. Oh well. Let's just hide the mistakes. What was this? Oh god. Select this face. Let's add Where's the... I have to do it again. What's that thing? Insert face. It's not insert face. Extrude. Alright. Like something. I wanna put like, I don't know which one's supposed to be. This is gonna be the front. Oh god. Like add something here. Hang on, wait. Bevel. Add a bevel. Yep. It's better now. Oh my god, I did this. It's better. Alright, what now?
We're back in our normal object mode. And in order to unhide our trunk as well as the ground plane, you can press Alt and H and that will unhide
Clickety clap.
everything. And right now our lid sits inside of this trunk. So let's press A to unselect everything and just select this lid in the middle and just drag this up. Kind of like
Select cylinder. Move up. Move the cylinder up. How do I move the cylinder up? Cylinder. Hey, cylinder. Oh yeah, right, I'm still in, Hey, cylinder, move up. Okay. Chest.
place it on top of our trunk. Cool. It might be just a tiny bit big, and so we can simply press S to scale it down just a tad.
Nah.
Add so it doesn't overwhelm the actual treasure.
Again, that's too good. I can like kind of see the inside. That's good. There's no way I just modeled this though, no actually.
Chest or trunk or whatever you want to call it. And I might actually rotate it just a little bit. So let's press R and that's not what we want. We want to lock it down to the Y axis, so let's press Y. We want to
So click R, L, click undo, rotate Y, and then bada bing bada boom, we got a chest. I'm gonna add some hinges there, but I don't know how.
rotate it just a little bit. And I might actually just move this up just a little bit more as well. So it's kind of like a semi-opened trunk. I'm just going to move it over to the side. Just kind of position this. I just really want to play around with it so it looks a little nicer when we render this out. And there you go. You now have a very basic trunk. In order to check out what this would look like rendered, let's come down to the header of the 3D viewport and change the display mode from
Z. Whoa! 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 Wait, this is actually really cool. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
solid over to rendered. And that actually looks pretty cool. Obviously, there's still a lot we could do to make this look nicer. We can
Alright.